course, it takes a minute. Okay, and we're officially live.
Yes.
Hi.
Hey
Hey,
y'all.
okay, so we're officially live. I don't know if we have anybody in the room with us, but if it's just us, that's fine. We'll do this
Yes.
whole episode. People can catch the replay. But I guess we'll introduce for the future people who are watching this. Hey, everybody, welcome to episode 3 of Lit Bitches. I think we're calling this one the Blind Squad. So we're so happy to have you
Yes.
here. I am Amanda, the author, joined by my lovely, as always, by my lovely co-hosts. The ladies, you want to introduce yourselves?
Hello. My name is Khaila Gentle. Pleasure to be here as always.
Hey y'all. I'm Katrina and Lewis. And yes, I am happy. I am ready to chat. This is awesome. I'm here for episode 3, 4. We are just rolling here, guys.
We absolutely are. I'm pretty excited. It feels like it's going by not fast in a bad way, but like, things are going. We're getting momentum. We're building
Yes,
momentum.
definitely
That's good.
that. Let me
That's what
move
I'm
this
thinking.
a little bit.
So, how's the week been? Any updates, any surprises, anything that's going on in your author life you want to share before we get into our main topics?
My week has been pretty much go slow. I am, I guess, taking a break for
Mhm.
a while, so nothing much happening here. Oh,
Hmm.
I'm back on TikTok, attempting to make videos for TikTok these days. I don't. We'll see how that goes.
You will hold hands and attempt together, honey, because let me tell you.
Yeah, that's a TikTok is a whole other beast. But for me, no, nothing too exciting. Just trying to get my parenting life together as always, y'all. I gotta schedule some social media posts, and so hopefully I get some of that done tomorrow because I didn't do it this week.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I feel
it's
you,
been
sis. I feel you so much.
like I don't know why I pants everything. I I need help. Someone send help.
Look,
Amanda, please send help.
you know what it is for me is that I'll like plot out my social, but in terms of like actually posting it at the same time every day and being strategic in that way, it's really difficult. So
Yeah.
I'm like more of a plantser when it comes to my marketing and
Mhm.
social, which is probably not where I need to be a planter, but here we are.
Well, at least you're like halfway there. You're in better shape than I am.
Hey.
Me and
But see,
Kyla.
that's part of why we're doing this. We're helping each other, we're helping other
Yeah.
authors, we're helping each other, and that's our thing. So for me, this week has been I'm starting to do 2 YouTube videos a week now on my channel. So it's been filming a lot of learning about myself and my product when I'm productivity. That's not how you say that. When I'm most productive,
Right.
and I'm getting better at editing and starting to hate the sound of my voice less when I'm editing because it's a whole lot of start and stop and hey
Right.
everybody, it's Amanda the author. Hey everybody, it's Amanda the author.
Right.
It's a whole lot of that. But that's been my week. That's been my week. And I think, right, Preptober. Are we all doing
Yes,
Preptober? Getting ready for NaNoWriMo?
yes,
Sort of.
yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
participating, surprisingly.
So this moves us into our first topic of
Yeah.
NaNoWriMo. So for those of y'all who don't know, NaNoWriMo National Novel Writing Month is November. And the
Yes.
goal is to write, I believe it's 50,000 words in a month on whatever it is you're working on. It could be something new, it could be something already in process, it could be you're rewriting, but it's just to be writing 50,000 words in the month. And October is a chance, it's Preptober, it's a chance for you to get your ducks in a row, you get your outlines together, your character profiles, all that together. So, what's the tea, y'all? How's Preptober going for you?
It's going slow, but it's going.
I see that shake. I see that head shake, Katrina. She said no.
It's like, nah.
No, ma'am.
So, like, here's the deal. NaNoWriMo is like really, really cool. I tried it back when it was in, I believe there's one in May as well. It's May and
Mm-hmm.
November. And it's just, I don't know. I just didn't, it didn't stick. I don't know. Like, I think I wrote maybe like 2, 3 chapters, and I was just like in my own flow. I was like, forget it. It's too much. Yeah, I think it's me at this point, guys. I think it's just, I don't know. I got to get myself together, but I would like to participate, but I don't believe I am this year. But how about you guys?
I feel you so hard. I really feel hard. I don't know. I mean, I think I'm naturally just going to be writing. I'm working
Right.
on a book in the House of Transcendence. I was writing a little bit mostly yesterday as well. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's certainly possible to get 50,000 in the month.
Right.
I just don't know that I want to do that rigid of a schedule
Yeah.
because it
Right.
is so grueling. And the way my
Mhm.
anxiety is set up, if I'm not like sticking to that schedule, I might just
Yep.
feel like guilty.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I already have too many things to be anxious about,
Yeah.
aside
Right.
from, What about you, Kyla?
I'm hoping that this is the year that I actually win at NaNoWriMo, but I'm also making it like gonna make an effort to not beat myself up if I don't. Like
Yeah.
it gets discouraging, especially because I'm in a Facebook group. Like I think it's the official NaNoWriMo Facebook group, and it gets
Mhm.
discouraging when you're like 3 days in and there are people posting, "Hey, I reached 50,000 words," and I'm just like, how? Like,
Some people lying.
how is
Privilege.
that humanly possible?
I might just call it out privilege because if you were reaching 3 days at 50,000 in 3 days, you took time off work, you
Yep.
don't have a full time job, you don't have,
Yep.
even if you took time off work, you ain't got other commitments. No
Yep.
shade, but like
Or you're lying.
that too. That
Yeah.
too. So we're calling people out on this show.
Yes.
You can't just, I don't believe you, 50,000 words in 3 days. Where?
Yeah.
Evidence. Show
Yeah.
me.
That
Please
is
show me the
that is
receipt.
wild. Yes, we need the receipts.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I'm hoping to have something that looks like a first draft by the end of November. And
Mm.
this
Yeah.
month is dedicated to planning Land of the Gods. So we'll see how that goes.
Ooh, Land of the Gods.
Selfishly,
Okay.
selfishly, I want you to finish it. Obviously, I'm rooting for all of you, but selfishly, I want to read this book. So that's why I'm
Right.
extra rooting for you because I'm like, give it to me.
If you see me procrastinating on Twitter next month, just be like, Kyla, get, let's
Right.
go.
Well, you know what we'll have to do? Maybe we'll start doing some writing sprints together or something. That way we
Ooh,
can actually hold each other
Yes.
accountable.
yeah.
Because
I
my
have
goal was to
my
finish the
writing
first
sprint
draft.
really. My bad. Go ahead.
Mm,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
My goal was to finish the first draft by the end of this month, and I just looked at what I had and what I still have to write in my outline and was like, "You fool! You
That was
fool!"
so good.
So it's probably gonna be next month. What were
Then
you
the
saying,
licensed
Katrina?
author. No, I was just saying that writing sprints are so helpful. Like I guess before, I don't know, I just felt like, oh, I'll get to them. But I started to do them, and they've just been like, yeah, like I'm like, okay, like I can reach my word count, and yeah, so yeah, I'll be down for some writing sprints. We could all like be in a nice chat and set the timer and just right away.
Mm, let's do it. Lit
Yeah.
bitches writing sprints. That
Yes.
sounds wonderful.
I love how this is always where we come up with the ideas. Like the ideas just keep coming. Like
Yeah, yeah. It's like a live stream of consciousness for us.
Yes.
I love it. So we're talking about Nano, we're talking about, how stressful it can be. And obviously being an author means that you have a bunch of stuff on your plate, right? If you're an indie author, especially, you're not just writing, you're marketing, you're doing social media, you're doing emails, you're doing TikTok, you're doing all the things. So obviously that means that there's quite a bit of stress and, potential for burnout. So let's talk about author self-care. Do we have any tips? Do we have any, any moments that we want to talk about where we needed to step away or needed to up our self-care game? Because I feel like every author could use some of this right now,
Yeah.
especially.
Yeah, especially right now. Like I was earlier I was telling Amanda that like today, even though I didn't really do much, I was still tired, and I
Yeah.
realized that it's probably still burnout because I've taken like mini breaks, but I guess I've never just fully like completely relaxed. So it's like I will take like a mini break and then get back to work and then just instantly burn out, and like it's this constant cycle. So like I'm really glad that self care is something we're talking about today because
Yeah.
I need help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I honestly, to be honest, I had a panic attack the other day,
Mm.
on Wednesday, curiously fueled by exercise. So me 5 years ago would have been like, oh well, I guess that means exercise is a problem, so I'm not gonna do it, which is
Right.
obviously not what I'm thinking now. Um, yeah, I just have a lot on my plate, and I just had a panic attack and had to stop what I was doing and really take care of myself. And for the
Mm.
rest of the evening, and it was around like 4, so I was,
Mm.
done with work, but it was still at that time where you have the whole night ahead of you, where you could write, you could be creative, you could do whatever. And I think I just ended up watching like Brittany Vaughn makeup and crime videos on
Yeah.
YouTube to try to make myself feel better because, once I worked through the anxiety and the fog and I kept
Yeah.
trying to ground myself, which is, I guess, one of my self-care tips is if you're in a moment of feeling angry, angry or anxious,
Yeah.
to try some grounding techniques of, thinking about what is happening in your present moment. So what are things you can see? What can you hear?
Mm.
What can you taste if maybe you're eating or something? What can you smell? What can you feel?
Mm.
Um, and then start to kind of think about where are you? Where are you in your house, in your town, in your city, wherever. And I knew part of why I was having a panic attack is that my brain was so foggy that I kept saying it was June. I kept thinking it's June, I'm in June, but then I was like, wait, it's October.
Mhm.
Yeah.
June was months ago. So I think trying some grounding techniques is probably one of my tips for self care, especially if you're in the throes of immense anxiety, because it can really
Yeah.
help.
Yeah. I think when the mind is like learning how to turn it off, meaning like
Yeah.
cell phone, even if you gotta deactivate Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff, like it could
Hmm.
just be so much. And I know Kyla, how you mentioned like you've taken breaks, but you never felt like you actually relaxed. And I
Yeah.
sometimes feel like I get like that too. And I sometimes feel like part of it is because we kind of aren't. We're still really connected to the things we're doing. I could just open up my laptop and get to social media. I could open up my laptop and get to my whips and stuff like that. Or go to my cell phone and I got social media at the palm of my hand. So it's never like you never quite feel relaxed. But when it's time for me to take a break, I will turn off my notifications. You cannot reach me. Like right after I finished Heavy is the Head, about a month, no, yeah, about September, August, September. I just felt myself like burning out. Like I was jumped into Heavy is the Head 2 and I was trying to like it was just so much going on. I was buying a house and it was like all these things going on. And I just felt myself getting angry. And I was just like, I can't, like, I don't want to put that energy on to one other people into what I'm doing. Like, it just wasn't it. So, like, noticing the signs, are you excessively tired? Are you losing interest in the thing that you actually love? Um, and are you like really pissed off like half of the time because you might actually be tired? And then learning how to just like deactivate, like turn off your notifications, like get rid of it. Like I remember when I took my break, I believe I took like about 2 weeks. Um, I had all my notifications off. Like I did not. I don't think I spoke to anybody on social media those weeks besides like my close friends like y'all, Charlie, Montrez. But other than that, I was can't reach me. I need this mental health break.
Yeah. I think that's important too, is because it can feel very much like you have to be on to keep your name out there, to get
Yeah,
people to want to get your books, to get people interested, but ultimately you can still do all that and take your like put your mental health first.
yeah,
Um, for me, it was definitely scheduling time like a day off because
Yeah.
especially when we're authors and we have a 9 to 5 or any kind of other job aside from our indie authoring, it can feel, or school even, like, let's talk about that too. It can feel very
yeah,
overwhelming, right? Where it's like, man, I have to show up completely in this whole other part of my life. And then also in my indie life for however long, you're devoting that time. So I, for so long, was not even giving myself like a day off.
yeah,
And then after getting read to filth by my therapist, who basically was like, no, like you need to take a break and you need
yeah,
to figure out your schedule and get your life together. I Sundays are usually my days off where I'll like pre-schedule a post because
right.
that's what I do. But I don't usually write. I don't do marketing. I don't do any of that. I try to be in the moment as much as possible. Go visit my family. A couple Sundays ago, I went and had brunch, and that was really fun. Just being around my family,
Yeah,
and all that. So really, I think another tip is take rest, take breaks, take a social media break if you
yeah,
can, take a break, not just from social media but from writing as well. I think so much of our messaging right is this idea that you have to write every day. So
Yeah.
what do
I
y'all think about that?
hate
How do
that.
you feel about that
Uh,
advice?
That is
I
that is
hate it.
that is bad advice.
Yes. Oh God, my ears are bleeding.
Yeah.
Word, yeah. And it's so like if somebody were to ask you that's a non-writer, why is that advice terrible? What would you say to them?
I
I
think
would
I would.
personally say unrealistic. Go ahead, Kyla. You
Yeah.
take.
No. Yeah. It's unrealistic because life happens. There's
Mhm.
no way that you like. But it goes back to what we were talking about with NaNoWriMo and those people that actually manage
Yeah,
to write so much in so little time. It's that not everyone has the same schedule. Like we all have different things and
mhm.
different obligations in our lives. So like it's kind of giving yourself like this unrealistic standard to keep up with, and you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna wear yourself out like with
Yeah,
putting that kind of pressure on yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
hundred
And
percent.
it's totally unrealistic. It's, I think, usually coming from a place of privilege when people say it, because the person who keeps touting it is Stephen King.
Yes.
The the man
Yeah.
has been able to be a full-time writer for decades, so I don't want to
Right.
hear any other kind of, without having to do his own marketing for decades. Like, let's call it out. I
Like
don't want to hear nothing
Yeah.
from him.
listen,
Right.
like I love Stephen King. I love the man, right? But when he says stuff like that, I'm like, weren't you on cocaine for most of that? Like when you were just like writing every day? Like not everyone can do that, sir.
I mean, yes, coming out with the big guns. Yes, absolutely.
Is it coming out with the big guns?
Can I say that on YouTube?
I'm not monetized yet, so say what you want to say. Me and my 46 subscribers will enjoy it.
You're coked up writing every day. I can't do that, sir.
Yeah, and it's like, I think it ignores the fact that creativity doesn't just happen when you're
Right.
like, you can get inspired and creativity can happen doing other things, doing the dishes, taking your dog for a walk, going on a road trip, spending time with the people who you love, spending time with yourself. Like, let's talk about that, is just
Yeah.
being in silence. Is a lot of times when you can get new ideas, marketing ideas, ideas for stories. And I think if you're writing every day, you don't allow space for that to work through those moments where I'm gonna just say it. Sometimes people's writing shit. Sometimes your first draft is shit. And
Yeah.
if you don't give yourself the time to step away from the story
Yep.
and then come back to it, you don't give yourself time to work through those moments of this section is difficult,
Right.
you know? Like in Jewel Arts and Desperation, there's a whole protest section where there's fighting and there's potions and there's this very actiony sequence, very like Avengers style a little bit. And it took me months to get that scene down to where it is in the book. But that's
Right.
because I had to come away from it, step away, take time away from the book, write other sections, take a week off just because I wasn't in the right headspace to do it. But you know
Right.
what? The book is finished. The book is out.
Yes.
The book's published.
And it's great. I finished it.
Thank you.
Is
I
it
was
not
clapping by the end.
awesome?
I said, "Oh my god, it was so good."
Thank you. So like, but that's the thing, right? Is that like taking this time away will not
Right.
prevent you from putting your work out
Yep.
Exactly.
there. Mm-hmm.
Like
100% agree.
I'm in this local writing group here in Belize, and one of my friends in the group was talking about how they felt like they weren't a writer because they don't write every day. And
Mm.
someone else in the group told them, you know, even when you're not writing, like experiencing life is a part of writing, you know,
Yeah.
because we write from our experiences and we write
Mm-hmm.
from what we see and what we live. So you're still a writer even if you're taking a break, no matter how long that break is.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people don't stop. What is it with the writing profession that people think that if you're not actively doing it, that you're not a writer? Like, we don't tell people who are lawyers if you're not in litigation, you're not an actual lawyer. We don't tell a
Right.
doctor if they're not with a patient, they're not a doctor. Like, why is it that we have this idea that if to be a writer, you have to actively be doing that thing? It's absurd.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Absurd.
Yeah. I absolutely hate the whole, you have to write every day. It's unrealistic. I feel like you're setting yourself up for failure, to some extent, because you're not gonna write every day. Things happen, life happens, you may get a flat in your tire and you wake up and you like, oh damn, I gotta go to the to the auto shop now. I can't write. It's just, yeah, I literally agree with everything you guys said. Like, it's just, no, we're not writing every day. We're not doing that. You got to experience life. A lot of times I come up with ideas for things I want to write when I'm in the car driving. It's just those moments
Mm-hmm.
where it's just you and yourself and you're with your own thoughts, and you pass by a tree or a street sign and you're like, ah, and something comes to you. Like, it's being an artist, a writer. It's just, you experience it daily. You're doing it all the time. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't get why there's this thing. I mean, I feel like I kind of get it. Like, I feel like maybe it's because like writing is kind of, um what's the word I'm looking for? I feel like we get like stereotypes, like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, you're a writer. Oh, But it's, please, no one follow that advice ever. You're not going to write every day. Just
Yeah.
don't set
So
yourself
that's
up that way.
so that's our other tip for self-care, right? Is to
Right.
not write every day. Don't
Yeah.
expect that of yourself.
No.
Don't listen to other people when they tell you to write every day. Um, Stay hydrated, folks. Drink
Yes.
some
Yeah.
water. You
Get
know,
up
Yeah.
and go to the bathroom. Right. It's gonna be okay.
get up and take a walk. Do
Yes.
some movement with your body. It doesn't have to
Mhm.
be a run, a wait, a walk. Just do some kind of movement for your body.
Mhm.
That will help you. I get a lot of my ideas when I'm doing the dishes and also when I'm baking.
Mhm.
So I do quite
Yeah.
a bit of dishes, not as much baking because of the sugar. And I
Mhm.
don't like to do like I generally don't do sugar-free recipes because I'm like, if I'm gonna have a pie, I'm
Right,
gonna
you're
have
gonna
some
eat five.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I try to, not make a lot. So do we have any other self-care tips before we move on to the segment everybody's probably waiting for?
Ooh. um, just my only tip is like do things that work for you. There's no like blueprint. There's no map. Like you'll see things on social media about like, for example, Amanda. She's a planner. Me and Kyla were cancers. If it
Yeah.
works for you, it works for you. Just do your thing. Take your time. Like there's no rush. Especially when you're an indie author, like a lot of the deadlines you want to meet, which is cool. You have a deadline, all right, that's fine. But don't like put pressure on yourself like the world is going to end because you don't need it. Like it's gonna be all
Mhm.
right. Take a deep breath. Do what works for you. Screw what doesn't, and keep moving. Like you said, take a walk, get some water. It's gonna be all right.
Mhm.
Stay hydrated.
Yes,
Stay
stay
hydrated.
hydrated and take those breaks. If you have to take a social media detox, do it. It's gonna be all
Yeah.
right. Social media is gonna be there when you come back. And a lot of times,
Mhm.
I was clapping, so my computer was shaking, but I'm gonna get real serious. Um, self care is important because we're not immortal. We're not gonna be here forever. So you want to make sure you're taking care of yourself because social media is going to be here. It's a beast of its own. One day we won't be. So take care of yourself while you are. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's my piece.
I would say my other tip is set realistic deadlines for yourself because you can
Yeah.
do all of these things in the world, but if you're not setting realistic deadlines,
Yep.
you're setting yourself up for failure. Either you're going to be super anxious about it
Yep.
if you miss it, right? Because if you're following these other tips and you're like, I can't do that, you're going to miss it
Right.
and then you feel guilty. And then that's a negative feedback loop. Or you'll try to scramble to meet your deadlines and then you will do your body, your mind, your whole self a disservice because you
Yep.
won't feel good. And the whole point of doing all of this is to to fulfill your passion by writing and feel good about it. And so if as much as you can, set realistic deadlines so that you can build in breaks, you can build in days off, you can build in time for an emergency. So if you do have a flat tire or you get sick, right? Because
Right.
that's something we need to be talking about now.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about not meeting your deadline.
Right.
Kyla, any other tips from you aside from stay hydrated?
No, I fully agree with everything that you guys just said, and for me, I think I would say like don't be afraid to just turn off your writer brain sometimes. Like
Yes.
just do nothing at all. Like because for me, like I would be lying on my bed and I'm like, okay, we're gonna relax, and then still be thinking like, okay, I should be doing this or I need to be doing this,
Yeah.
and just turn your brain off. Just turn it off
Yep.
and don't make yourself feel guilty for doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, if you all have any tips for us, feel free to leave them in the chat. And for those watching in the future, feel free to leave a comment. And if you want to give us some tips, things that have worked, things that you like that we've mentioned, we're totally open to new ways to level up and to care for
Yes.
ourselves. So go ahead and let us know those. So, Hyla, you said the perfect segue of people writing from their personal experiences.
I thought, I thought about
You
that.
said that, and I was like, ooh, I bet she did this because she knew what we was going to talk about last.
As it
I
Right.
came out
knew
of my mouth, I was like, oh my god.
this is gold. um, it's time, y'all. It's time to talk about the Bad Art Friend article. The New York Times. This thing has been. I don't know about other platforms, right? Because I haven't. Sorry, my chair is going to make a tremendous amount of noise. It's super old. Ugh, it's like rickety bones over here. Uh, I don't know if it's set any other social platform ablaze, but I know on Twitter, every writer I know is talking about this in some form, either to be like, what's the deal with the kidney story or
Uh-huh.
legit takedowns. So I guess we'll summarize this for those who maybe haven't aren't in the know.
Like I said, this is a wild story from start to finish. I I I wrote notes. I took many notes while I was reading it. I was like, oh my god.
Khaila brought the receipts.
She said, "Okay, so point A to point B, right?" And then I guess I'll try to summarize it, and y'all can like let me know if I missed anything. But basically, two women who one is Dawn and one is Sonia.
Mhm.
Um, they were writers. They are writers. They're in a writing group in Boston, and friendly. I guess you could say one of them thought it was a friendship. The other one just thought we're friendly.
Right.
And when Dawn, I think, moved, they kind of stayed in touch a little bit. Dawn decides to become a living kidney donor and invites a small group of people to, I guess, a group where she's making all these announcements and talking about the kidney donation process leading up to afterward, whatever, right? Sonia's in this group, as are, I guess, other authors, and many of them are lurking, i.e., they're not talking, commenting on these posts, but they are very much talking about what's happening, and we'll bring that in later. Cut to, I guess, a couple years, maybe a couple months after, Dawn is feeling a way that Sonia doesn't like, hasn't said nothing, hasn't commented, hasn't uh, given her flowers for donating a kidney. Dawn comes back to Boston for some event, and this is a part in the article where I was very like, I sighed. I was tired at this
Yeah.
moment when she said that nobody brought it up, that she had done this kidney thing,
I,
and nobody
I'm
said
I'm
nothing to her
sorry
about
to
it.
cut you across. I wrote
Oh no, go
down
ahead.
her exact words. Do
Yes.
writers not care about kidney donations? That is what that is what got me.
Don't know that that's what it is. So, what are we thinking so far? Where are we? What were your thoughts thus far into the story when you heard it?
I like okay. At this point in the story, I was like, okay, Dawn is coming off kind of what is the word?
Extra.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. Like I'm gonna make a Facebook group about the fact that I donated a kidney. It's very
Right.
much people on social media filming while they feed the homeless. Like look
Yep.
at me guys. Like look at what I'm doing.
yeah.
Like that's what I felt about her at this point in the story. And then when she said that thing, literally, do writers not care about kidney donation at this writing event that is focused on writing, that is not
Right.
focused on kidneys or anything of the sort? I was like, what is wrong with you?
He's clearly
But
super self-centered. Like she thought the world revolved around her and this kidney donation. I was just like, not like, okay, congratulations, yeah. I mean, that will let me stop. That is awesome to donate a kidney, but
yes,
Mm-hmm.
come on, like, oh, we
Mm-hmm.
get it.
It felt very like, okay, you're doing this thing that is wonderful, and I
Right.
am in, and I don't that we don't know to what extent the posts in this group were
Hmm.
about kidney donate like live organ donation in general. If the posts
Hmm.
were like, this is something I'm doing, this is something I did, here's my recovery, see everybody, it's not that bad, you can do it
Right.
too, here's what you need. Like if the posts were informational with a slight
Right.
personal twist, then I could see that, and I
Like,
could
well,
totally
right.
see, but at that same time, I would not make a group, I would not make a closed group if that was the case.
Right.
Like if I wanted to make posts getting information out there, I would want to tell as many people as possible
Hmm.
about live organ donation, about how it would work, and hey, that you can do it too.
Right.
The vibe that I got felt very like she chose these specific people, because she thought they were friends or what have you, to
Mm-hmm.
tell about her specific thing that she specifically did. It felt very like, okay, girl, like
Yeah. Yeah.
you did a thing that's good for the world and that's cool.
Right.
Let's keep it moving and talk
Yeah.
about
Other
writing
stuff.
in third person, you know? um, so she this happens. She's upset that nobody's bringing this up to her. Um, she reaches out to Sonia specifically because she felt that Sonia had specifically been, they've been friends. And they talk a little bit, and then shortly thereafter, Dawn learns that Sonia is writing a short story
That's very
about
interesting.
yeah, I'm trying to really be nuanced. I'm doing my newscaster voice. So, uh, son is writing a short story about kidney donation, and I feel Dawn a little bit, being a little bit like, okay,
Hmm.
that's a little weirdly specific. It's not like organ donation.
Right.
It's not something as ubiquitous as like, oh, I had a baby and now she's writing a story about having a baby, because that happens. People have babies all the time. This is
Right.
very like specific. So I totally at that moment was like, okay, Dawn, like I get you being a little like. So she says she's writing a story, and Tony's trying to, talk to her. Hey, what it's about, and that this is something that I did, right? You know that, and Sonya's like, yeah, I remember seeing that. It's not about you. It's you inspired me, but this
Right.
is other. What did she say? Narrative ideas, something or whatever that I've been wanting to play with in this
Hmm.
story. So Don's trying to talk to her. That's what it is. Cut to essentially, some back and forth of their communication. Um, Don finds out about the story because a mutual friend of theirs says, "Hey," well, she found out about the story because a mutual writing friend, right? But then she
Hmm.
like, what is it? She doesn't read the actual story for a couple of years,
Yeah.
but then she like reads the story and is a little
Yeah, like
feeling
I think
away.
she stumbles upon an audio recording of the story, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And
Possibly.
like the part that she stumbled upon was her a letter that she wrote and posted, like
Hmm.
the letter that she wrote to the person who received her kidney,
Mm-hmm.
and she posted that letter in the Facebook group, and that is the letter that like she read about in the story, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's that she wrote the letter as like a dear future person who would receive it. Now, the other part of this is that Dawn actually the kidney did find a home. That sounds so weird, but the kidney was somebody did receive the kidney. And I think Dawn and this person had been in contact. Like
Yeah.
Dawn wanted to be in contact with this person, and so they were, hey, if that's what she wants to do, it would be weird to me, but some people
Right.
would not be. So essentially, what we find out is that the story is very. And we should note here that Sonia is a person of color. Sonia
Mhm.
is mixed race. She's Asian and white. She's referring to herself as a person of color. So that's what
Mhm.
we're going to refer to her as. Um, she writes a story featuring her like frequent heroine Chantal, where she receives a kidney from a white woman. Dawn is white, from a white woman, who then wants to insert insert herself into Chantal's life, be in her life, and
Mhm.
essentially kind of wants her to be very like, oh my god, you're the greatest. Very like, as Sonia said, white savior. Sonia
Yeah.
specifically was saying that this is the angle she was taking with this story, that she felt that it was very, she wanted to explore white saviorism in the context of a live organ donation.
Mhm.
She in the first draft of the story, the white lady's named Dawn.
Yes, I remember that.
The first draft of
Yeah.
this story, she uses Dawn's letter, basically word for word.
Hmm.
And essentially, Sonia's trying to or Dawn's trying to get a hold of Sonia about this. Sonia's gaslighting her, saying no, it wasn't you. I was inspired by other things. I think what actually happens is Dawn then goes, okay, well, you plagiarized me, so here's what time it is, and decides to go essentially to all of these places where Sonia's story is published, where she's going to be giving these talks, and is trying to be like, wouldn't they, I think the article specifically said, wouldn't they like to know that this story was plagiarized?
Yeah.
Which felt so Karen-y to me, because I think she
Mhm.
herself said, like, wouldn't they like to know? I could just
Right.
imagine a person saying that with like, wouldn't they like to know? Now,
Right.
I am by no means saying that Dawn was in the wrong for like seeing the plagiarism and saying something about it. It's just the
Mhm.
vibe and the way that she went about it felt
Right.
very above and beyond in a way that I don't know that she would have in other circumstances,
Yeah.
Mhm.
is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So there's legal action. Sonia files a suit against Dawn for like libel, tort, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it was defamation.
Yeah.
Defamation.
Information.
Yeah. Um, so, Sonia's over here thinking, yes, she's fine. She's defamation. She's trying to get this story canned. She's trying to get my career undone.
Mm-hmm.
But what she did not count on with Sonia
Mm-hmm.
was that there'd be all these texts, all these messages between her and her writing friends, where she essentially admits to lifting
Yeah.
this letter from Facebook and saying that she could not fix it because it was too damn good. And very much talking about Dawn, disparaging her decision, her post saying that it's
Wow.
cringy, shit talking her, which obviously is not illegal to this
Right.
extent, but you basically she told on herself by admitting that she had plagiarized. She then changes
Right.
the main character's name to Rose, which some people picked up on the fact that Dawn had done some kind of thing in the Rose Bowl parade,
Ah.
and we got her going.
This whole saga needs higher SPF.
So that to me, I felt like it was still a nod. The story is called The Kindest. People felt like she was doing that in a trolly kind of way because Dawn always
Mhm.
sends her emails with kindly, which to me felt a bit of a reach. Like I
Mhm.
see it, but it also felt like, well, people do sign their emails like kindly or
Right.
whatever. I think it'd be very if it was very specifically if it was more specific than that, I could see that. But I also it doesn't look good, you know.
No, not at all.
I
So
I had no
whenever
idea they had actual receipts. Like I think I skipped that part. I'm like, okay, so Dawn basically
girl,
not Dawn.
yes.
Sonia basically dug her own grave there.
She told on herself.
Yes, so there's actual receipts. Now, this whole story, and the reason why we are bringing this up, not just because it's a lot of drama and sometimes you just enjoy mess, is because it brings up very interesting ideas of writer responsibility, what we can and cannot write, plagiarism, things like that, right? Sonia, throughout this whole entire thing, because the New York Times article was written by a journalist who spoke to both of them and got both sides. I think, as
Right.
nuanced as the article could have been, it seemed very like he spoke to both of them and it presented both of their viewpoints. Sonia's very much like, um, you know, writers always use their life. And just because I use this situation where she had donated a kidney, I didn't plagiarize, she says. Um, I think she's talking about the concept of the story wasn't plagiarism, and I
Right.
should be able to do it, and I shouldn't be getting in trouble, da da da. And so, what do y'all think? What are your thoughts on the saga, and also the question of, as authors, what responsibility do we have when we take things from real life? What does that look like?
I
When
feel like she should ask. Like, if
yeah,
you were really that inspired by her story and you wanted to use her letter, you have to get people's permission, especially when you're going to tell the story that specifically down to the person. Like, it's very simple. Amanda, I really like that you said X, Y, and Z. May I use X, Y, and Z in my story? Sure. Can I use your, like, it's almost like when you're sitting somewhere or like someone's recording something and sometimes you sign a waiver, may I use your likeness, blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah. Writing is the same thing. You want to be that specific. Yes, she definitely should have gotten
yeah,
some kind of something from the friend. Um, yeah, that was just
Hmm.
she took the entire letter. She didn't even change it. So how can she say that she didn't play? I mean, the story itself, like ideas, like you can't really plagiarize an idea or a
yeah,
concept. That no, she didn't plagiarize, but she definitely took the letter and she used the woman's likeness and yeah, she should have just got some permission there. She could have just wrote
yeah,
something up. I'm going to write a story about a kidney donation I'm going to use your letter. Do you agree? Yes, no, sign. Like, and then she's been fine.
like
Hmm.
it's completely different when you're like, okay, I'm creating this character and like I'm
Right.
taking certain aspects of this person I know in real life to create this character. It's different from going like I'm lifting this entire specific experience that this one person had and I'm writing
Right.
about that specifically. And then I'm gonna take her letter verbatim and put it in my story. Like two
Hmm.
completely different things. Like that is. And
Yes.
she had the like, I think he said something about, oh, we artists, we borrow from life. That's not borrowing.
Yeah.
No.
Like
Yeah. She straight up jacked it. She took it.
Yeah. And I think that, I obviously, as Black writers, Black women writers, whatever, like, we stories about white saviorism, things like that, are probably stories that have come across our minds. We've
Mhm.
probably met somebody that has inspired that type of story. I think Sonia probably should have, even if she had the idea, she probably should have just been like, "Yo, I want to write a story about a kidney donation. I know that you donated your kidney. I
Right.
don't want you to think that this is about you. Just that the act of the kidney donation is what has inspired me. That little nugget is what has inspired me."
Yeah.
Um, so we
She
have a
probably
comment
tapped
here.
out. I'm on Karen's side because she's touched, but she wasn't lying.
Listen, yes, I think that you have to be careful. Sonia should have done her due diligence, and
Yeah.
I will also call out her friends who were gassing her up and
Yeah.
trying to be like, "We're gonna have your back."
Yeah. No.
Again, get you some friends that
Yeah.
if they your writing friends, the people that are reviewing your writing, you should probably have at least a good enough relationship with them where they
Right.
will tell you
Call you
when
out.
call you
Hmm.
out, tell you
Yeah.
when you're in the wrong. Because to me, she should have had somebody in her corner that was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is
How
this is
did it get
yikes.
past every single person yeah she spoke to about it? Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
You know, the other thing is, in some of the tweets and in some of the other receipts that have come out, it's like her friends were very like, post dealt this whole situation in the Grub writers, which is their writing group's people of color section. if Dawn tries to say something, she's going to get dragged. Essentially, very trying to lean into the fact that Sonia is, a person of color, which
Color. Right.
I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
Dawn would have reacted thusly if Sonia had been just a white writer. I don't know. I'm not making
Yeah.
accusations. I'm not saying that. I'm simply saying that it doesn't look good. And I
Right.
also don't like the idea of using one's status as a person of color, your person
Right.
colorness, as like this is happening because. Does
Right.
that make sense? Am I
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
because shit happens so much just
Mm-hmm.
off top. You don't
Right.
need to go crafting and
Right.
scheming and putting little nuggets out there of maybe the shit will happen. It just
Right.
happens. And so I just feel like that it felt very like her friends again leading her astray,
Yeah.
uh, and
Yeah.
gassing her up when
It
they
just
shouldn't
felt like
be.
a whole cop out. Like if you're gonna be bold, you're gonna tell this story, and you're just just come out with it. I'm
Yeah.
telling them about white saviorism. Kidney donation. I know you donated your kidney, girl. This book is not about you. Like, just come out and say it. Don't cop out and be like, hold on, they were both white people.
Yes,
Right. Yeah.
yes,
So,
exactly. So, I think we're all in agreement that I think obviously as authors we use our real life as inspiration, and that's great, but I think that also comes with a certain amount of responsibility that if you're using, Sonia gave the detail. If I walk past my neighbor, and he's planting petunias on his, planting petunias outside his house, and I
right.
decide to write a character planting petunias, do I then have to go to him and tell him, hey, is it okay if I, use this example of planting petunias? And to me, that felt very like false equivalency, because
Mm-hmm.
you're not like, to just write, you see somebody planting petunias, to just write
Right.
that this person is planting petunias is fine. But like writing about a white woman using her like white womanness to do an act such as a kidney donation, to be a white savior to somebody, and then exhibiting that behavior can be
Mhm.
very like, that's a statement. and
Yeah.
if and if somebody who has done that in real life, you're making that assertion that this person is doing that,
Mhm.
whether you know it or not, because people are going to read the story, and if they know her, they're going to be like, damn, is that what went down? Like,
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why the whole thing feels like a cop out. Like Sonya should have just said, you know what? I'm gonna just do it. I'm telling her like, or then even if she felt friendly enough, with Dawn, have a conversation with her. Because first of all, if you're going to be friends or friendly or whatever, you feel comfortable enough to write a story about me wanting my likeness, you should be able to come to me too and tell me that I'm tripping. I'm being very white savory. I need to calm my ass down. Like what you did, girl, was great, but you need to tone it down a notch, and here's why. Um, she could have switched it to a surrogate pregnancy or something as well.
mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Left it raw for
Yep. Consumption.
consumption.
Yep.
um and I really do think that this is a really shitty situation all around. Hopefully they've learned. And again, I think the other lesson here, right, is that making assumptions about friendships,
Yeah.
and assumptions about who you consider to be a friend, and what friendships should look like, what should happen in your friendships, how
Mhm.
honest should you be with your friends. um
Very honest. Tell me the
Listen,
truth. Well, me in
Yeah.
here. Tell me the
yeah,
truth.
I think you should establish that kind of relationship with your friends. Like, we're friends, us three.
Yeah.
We didn't just randomly meet. We're friends, and
Yeah.
we will be very honest with each other, regardless.
Yeah.
You're tripping, so be kind to yourself. Whatever, girl, you really shouldn't write that line, because it's like,
Right.
like we're not just gonna not tell that to each other, because I do
Right.
feel like if you can't be honest with the people that you consider friends, then are they really your friends?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
No, not
exactly.
really. Yeah.
Katrina, nope, not at all.
No.
Just I like how you said that and just looked down. Like, yeah, well, I don't know. Man, yeah, this is definitely a saga. I feel like, there might be even some more information that comes out about this.
There definitely will be. This is not over.
This is not over. Somebody suggested making a movie, and I was just like, please God, no.
Oh
No,
my goodness.
Because
no.
that
I can
will,
see it
they,
happening though. I can see it.
well, because they will dramatize it, and I think inherently to make this a movie, there will be some kind of side taken.
Yeah.
Um, and even though, we largely are feeling that Sonya did it to herself, I think is what
Mhm.
it is.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. I don't know that a movie would or show would be nuanced as in a way that
Mhm.
it should be, you
Yeah.
know. Uh, but they're
Yeah.
probably still gonna
This
do
is
it, and
here
you
for
know
this
who's
on the
probably still
cast.
gonna watch it? Me.
Yeah.
Just for the
Because I'm
drama of it all.
right.
Oh my goodness. Well, any other notes about Bad Art Friend? Who's a Bad Art Friend? Oh, this is a good point.
This will be the first time we take a mixed person and make. Mm-hmm.
The
Mm.
Salter EA is coming in with all the
Me true.
facts.
Me too.
Yes.
Yup. So you're gonna be all dark skinned and she's the villain and yup.
And
Yup.
her friends will be too. Or
Yup.
if not, they won't be dark skinned, they'll be like people of color. And I don't know that all her
Brown.
friends
Yup.
were people of color. Like I don't know how many of them were or weren't. But yeah.
Mhm. That is
Yeah.
absolutely true.
That's that shit of like, how can we subtly turn people against this person?
Yep.
It's by making them darker skin.
Record.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's that shit. So, no movie, no show.
No.
Please don't. Just let Twitter continue to do what Twitter does and do
Right.
hot takes, and that's it. And authors, another advice corner here. Do your due diligence. If you're going to
Yeah.
use somebody's story for your work, probably talk to them if you know
Yes.
them. You know, um, think about how it will look, how much responsibility you have when you're using somebody else's story. Make
Hmm.
sure you have writing friends, not just like real life friends, because your real life friends may not be able to give you the kind of writing advice you need. Make
Right.
sure that your writing friends will be honest with you, because you need that
Mhm.
level of honesty, and be honest with them. That's
Right.
also what it is. Um,
It's just a mess. It's just a mess. Goodness
Oh my
gracious.
goodness. Yeah, that's what I got. What are y'all? Any other closing ideas about this particular situation, this saga?
Not a word on this.
Not a word, not a dang thing.
The only thing in my head right now is the quote from Don. Did you are aware I donated a kidney this summer, right? Like,
I just
But also, please don't be extra like that. If you're gonna do a good deed, do the good deed
just
to do the good deed.
yeah,
And if
right.
you're wanting to spread awareness about the good deed, then that's fine. Absolutely.
yeah,
Spread that awareness. Hey, this is something I did. And obviously we know that people connect with you with personal stories over brands and things like that. But there's a way to
Right.
do it that isn't self-aggrandizing, and that isn't like, look at me.
Right.
This is what I did. Like Khaila brought up all those videos of people feeding homeless people,
Yeah.
and buying them shoes and filming them. Meanwhile, they're still in the street.
Right.
You know, you shouldn't need to put your kind acts on
social media. Yeah.
on social media.
Her kidney, her choice. Salter EA
Coming
is
through the
coming through.
fire.
Yes.
Um, well, everybody, oh, hold on.
Oh my
What am I?
god.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
that feels like that Jessica, like, didn't they make that? Obviously, it's a horror movie, so it's not the same angle,
Uh-huh.
but that Jessica Alba horror movie where she gets somebody's eyes and she sees, like, the person whose eyes she got was, like, a witch or something, so she
What
I
sees
think
stuff.
I
movie
know
is
what you're
that?
talking about.
It wasn't very good because, like,
No.
it just wasn't
That
very. It was a good concept, not very well executed.
turning into a Karen after the transplant sounds like a Jordan Peele horror movie.
Yes, I can see Jordan Peele all over that.
Yeah. So we're gonna Solitaire EA. We're gonna need you to take a crack at this. I think they've seen this movie. Yes, that was wild. So, without any further ado, do we have any other updates? Any other writing updates? Anybody got anything going on that you'd like to promote, announce before we get that fuck up out of here and enjoy our Saturday night?
I
Um,
just want to say if anyone wants to be my friend on NaNoWriMo, they can add me. I think my handle is I have my days. You can find it at the link in my bio on Instagram. K Gentle Writes.
Oh,
I love
yay! Okay.
it.
I need
Yes.
friends.
Oh, wait, are we
God,
friends
I'm
on
bored. I
Nano?
have no.
Sorry.
Kyla, are we friends on Nano? We'll
No,
connect offline.
we'll connect.
Oh, you just said no. Oh shit! I feel like I've been called out. She said no.
No.
I know because I have like 4 friends on there.
Okay, well, see, I'm gonna fix after this. We'll talk. We will be friends by the end of this evening
He was
on
like,
Nano.
no, we are not.
Katrina, what about you?
Nah, I'm boring over here. I ain't got nothing going on. I am working on another project that's pretty cool.
Hmm.
Been sharing tidbits on socials, like a little pirate and steam and adventure. I'm working through it. Um,
Yes.
and yeah, just trying to get heavy as the head too. Trying to get the cover done. But other than that, no, not nothing major.
I'm excited about y'all's work. For me, it is, Tool Arts and Desperation is out. You can get
Hmm.
it where you get books. Consider going to the Melanin Library, however, and getting your book there.
Yes.
That not only supports a Black author, but it supports a Black-owned business, the Melanin
Hmm.
Library. Um, Beyond that, I'm working on my story, my In the House of Transcendence. There's necromancy, burlesque, mystery. It's set in the South. There's also bisexual romance. So,
Hmm.
hello, Kyla and I were in it for that
Would love to
representation.
see it.
I've been sending her those like the romance sections just because
Uh
I'm
huh.
like, oh,
I'm like living for both of your stories. Like I'm just like waiting to read more. Like if you ever just want to send me random excerpts, just please. Please.
I honestly will because I do need alpha readers because this is definitely the story that it's felt very much like a brain dump.
Hmm.
So we will talk offline. We got a lot to talk about offline, everybody. Well, thank y'all for joining us another episode. We will actually, let's announce, we will be doing a Halloween special episode. Normally we do our episodes on Saturdays. However, we couldn't let y'all down. We had to do something on Halloween, so we will be coming
Yes.
through on Sunday, October 31st. We will be announcing the time here shortly, and we may or may not be dressed up. So get
Don't want to
ready.
listen.
Your girls might be getting gussied up for the event. You can you can follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Amanda the Author with 2 E's, and on Twitter at Amanda the Author with 1 E. And ladies, where can you be followed? Where do you want to be followed, as Maddie Rance says?
I recently changed my TikTok handle, so it's now K Gentle Writes, which is the same as my Instagram, and I am on Twitter at Caribbean blurred.
Yes. And I
Hmm.
am Katrina Wright underscore on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. So follow me there and we'll have some fun.
Yes. Well, have a good evening, everybody. And for the people watching the replay, have a good whatever time of day it is for you, whatever day it is for you.
Yes.
Have a good one.
Take
And we
care.
will catch you on Halloween. And follow us on social, and
Yep.
comment if you have any thoughts on the Bad Art Friend article. If you have any author self-care tips, if you are doing NaNoWriMo or Preptober, let us know. And we will talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.